As the rental market itself slows down over the next few months, December, January, and February are the best times of the entire year to grow your rental arbitrage portfolio. I'm going to go over a few negotiation examples that I've done over the last year that's allowed me to scale this business so fast and in such lightning speed, and making sure that my cash on cash return is the highest it can possibly be with concessions, lower security deposits, and negotiating to make sure the least amount of upfront capital is used. Every business has its own season, and a lot of markets are cyclical. Airbnb, short-term travel, and rental arbitrage are no different. For the majority of markets, their slow season is December, January, and February. Just like in the multifamily space, the slowest rental period is also December, January, and February. Since both industries are at a disadvantage over the next 3 months, you have to find a symbiotic relationship on how you can both work together to fill their vacancy and to secure your units. Last December, I pitched an apartment complex for 20 apartments. Because of how much vacancy they had, they offered me 1 month free concessions. Just by calling the building prior to that meeting with the property manager, I was able to ask a leasing agent exactly how many vacant units are in the building. Then I know exactly how much leverage I have to play with. What I wanted was at least 2 months free, so I decided to ask for 3. Now, when I'm asking for 3 months free, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna get it. In negotiations and sales, you always have to find some middle ground between two parties. Now, let's say the building denied my offer of 3 months and decided to give me 2 months to meet in the middle. The next thing I would have to solve is security deposit. The 3 things a building usually asks for is your first month, last month, and security. For this example, let's say the average rents are $2,000. If I were to pay a first month, last month, and security on that $2,000 apartment, I would be out of pocket $6,000 in cash, not including furniture. Now, the next thing I have to ask for is a lower security deposit. I always start by saying I don't want to pay a single dollar in a security deposit. Why? Because we never plan to leave. We're gonna be the best tenants in your entire life. We will always be renewing with you. So that security deposit is tied up indefinitely. Now, of course, for insurance reasons, you can't ever get away with no security deposit. Majority of the time, the building is gonna require something. There have been buildings where I've negotiated a security deposit of $5,000 all the way down to $500. This building in particular, I negotiated all the way down to $350. Now, the last thing you want to negotiate is your last month's rent. I never in my entire life of running this entire business have ever paid a last month rent. So a last month's rent will never actually happen because we never plan to have a last month. Now, let's say you got the 2 months free. Let's say you got the low security deposit of $350 and I have no last month's rent. Now the actual concessions themselves, I have to make sure they start at the front of the lease. You're not gonna get this every single time, but in the winter, it's a lot easier. During the summer of July and September, I actually got 1 month free, but the building wouldn't let the concession start until after 12 months. So unfortunately, I was in the situation where I did not have a lot of leverage because it was summertime, there was a lot of leasing going on, and the market was pretty hot. I had to then negotiate and settle for that 1 month free, but on the 13th month. Now, just from our current example of these 20 apartments on a 2 month free concession, no last month, and a $350 security deposit, just on the concessions alone, I saved about $80,000 in total rent. Then another $40,000 in last month. So now my cash on cash return is a lot higher. My initial return on investment period is a lot higher. Every single time you have 2 months free up front, your cash on cash return gets returned to you very quickly within the first 45 to 60 days. If each of those apartments on average are going to bring in $3,000 a month, so for the next 60 days in all 20 apartments, my only expenses are utilities and cleaning. I should be able to profit $2,600 to $2,700 a month on all 20 apartments for the next 60 days, bringing the total time to return my investment into the furniture a lot quicker if I didn't have those 2 months free. That's why I can't stress this enough. Right now, multifamily is hurting. They're willing to give 2 months, 3 month concessions if you're picking up 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 apartments at one time. The only reason why I've been able to expand so quickly and so fast is because of these concessions. If I did not have these concessions up front and all of these leases, there'd be 0% chance of me expanding so quickly because all my capital would be tied up in paying off all this furniture. Because I had those 2 months free, the time to pay off all the furniture took only 45 to 60 days. I would then take all that profit, pay off that business credit card, and then run the cycle again for another 20, another 30 apartments. During winter, if you're good at negotiating and you're getting concessions and you have these 2 Amex Platinum credit cards, you can actually expand your business by 40 to 60 apartments just in the next 90 days alone. Now, you're not going to make that much profit over the next 90 days, but that's fine because now you have this unit secured, your teams are in process, the automation's built out, the systems are created just in time as we go into the high season. I live my life now on the seasonality of this business. During the slow months, I'm expanding, I'm grinding, I'm working hard every day, negotiating, flying out to buildings, getting more apartments, and scaling as fast as I can. During the summertime, I'm literally vacationing, traveling the world, enjoying my life, and not spending $1 and letting all the profits stack up. And that's exactly what I did over the last summer. I saved every single dollar that I made, and now I'm using it to expand as fast as I possibly can. I'm currently in negotiations and negotiating with landlords and developers on 120 new apartments over the next 90 to 120 days. And I'm negotiating everything from lease concessions, security deposit, terms, conditions, last month's rent, everything you could possibly think of. I'm making sure I'm walking away from these deals with a huge advantage on my shoulders to make sure the time to return the capital on my furniture is faster than ever. Currently right now, I'm at 180 rental arbitrage units. By the end of this winter, going into March, I should be walking out with 250 at the very minimum. Just the furniture alone for those 70 units that I have planned is going to cost me about $500,000 in cash for furniture alone. Not counting first month's rent, not counting security deposit. But with 2 months free, 3 months free, 1.5 months free even, my time to get all that money back, pay off those business credit cards, and make a profit is a lot faster. By getting concessions on all your deals literally speeds up the process and saves you 3 to 6 months of time. The best negotiations and the best deals are the ones where both parties walk away a little sour from the terms. I'm always asking for 3 months, 4 months, sometimes even 5 months free. Majority of the time, buildings are laughing at me and saying you're insane, but they'll come back with, how about 2 months? How about 2.5 months? And that's a sweet spot, and that's exactly what I plan to do. Do not let this opportunity go to waste. Right now is the best time in the last 2 years to start and grow a rental arbitrage company. If you want to follow me behind the scenes on my day-to-day life of a 7-figure Airbnb operator, follow me below on my TikTok and Instagram where I post daily and make sure you guys are seeing the actual ins and outs and behind the scenes of this industry. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.